Hello and welcome. I'm Nikita Kapoor and you're watching the Daily Jagran. In this special segment, I will take you through some of the top stories of the day. Let's begin. A dramatic turn in the tech titan Elon Musk versus US President Donald Trump case. A saga that's gripped America's internet over the past week has taken a sharp, unexpected turn. Elon Musk, billionaire, innovator and space entrepreneur, has just hit the brakes on what many dubbed a digital catfight with US President Donald Trump and his buddy also. In a stunning reversal, Musk posted a message on his platform writing, and I quote, "I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far." This admission marks a dramatic climb down from the man known for his unfiltered, often unpredictable social media presence. To understand the weight of this reversal, we need to rewind a bit. Just a week ago, Musk and Trump were locked in a war of words. It began with Trump reportedly mocking Musk's ventures. Musk fired back sharply, saying President Donald Trump's name is in the infamous Epstein files and warning that America could suffer under his leadership again. The back and forth escalated quickly, with Musk sharing memes, jabs, and even hints about how he should start a political party of his own. Their public spat stirred up a political and cultural storm, dividing just not fans and followers, but also business and analysts and political commentators. Two of the loudest voices in America, both with influence and cult following, suddenly turned against each other. Now, Musk's post is not exactly an apology. It's more like a calculated softening. He regrets the tone, not necessarily the message. What does Trump say about Musk's olive branch now? Well, nothing yet. Not officially, but we know Trump. A response is probably just a tweet or a Truth Social post away. A country neck deep in debt, staring at economic collapse, knocking on every global door for financial aid, and yet spending more and more on guns, not bread. Pakistan has increased its defense budget by a massive 20%. This when it can barely pay back its loans, let alone feed its people. So what is Pakistan really up to? Let's break this down. Pakistan's finance minister, Mohammad Aurangzeb, tabled a federal budget of 17,573 billion Pakistani rupees for the fiscal year 25-26. Out of that, a staggering Pakistani rupees 2,550 billion, that's nearly 9 billion US dollars, has been earmarked for defense alone. Yes, you heard that right. And where's this money coming from? Pakistan is already spending Pakistani rupees 8,207 billion, almost half the total budget, on debt alone. That's just interest payments, not even the principal. That means more than 60% of its total budget is already gone before any real development spending even begins. So the question is, why is a bankrupt country like Pakistan throwing money into tanks and missiles? This 20% hike in defense spending is not happening in isolation. It's reactionary. Tensions between India and Pakistan have flared ever since the April 22 terror attack in Pahalgam. In retaliation, on May 7, India carried out precision strikes on terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir under Operation Sindoor, and Pakistan was rattled. Publicly, it dismissed India's strikes as propaganda, but quietly, behind closed doors, the panic was visible, and now this sharp rise in defense spending is a clear signal. Islamabad is scared. Scared of India's military, scared of global isolation, and scared of the political fallout within. Here's what's even more alarming. There's no transparency. Pakistan's finance minister did not reveal any details of how the defense money will be spent. Why? Because in Pakistan, the defense budget is a no-go zone for parliamentary debate. It's never discussed, never questioned, never audited. And year after year, the military swallows a bigger slice of the pie, while public services, health and education starve. This budget is not about national security. It is about maintaining the grip of Pakistan's most powerful institution, its army. So what exactly is Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's game plan? The Shehbaz Sharif government is caught between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, it needs international bailouts, whether from the IMF or China. On other, it cannot afford to anger its military, which has historically pulled the strings behind every civilian government in Pakistan. But here's the cost: more borrowing, more inflation, more poverty, more youth with no jobs, and nation forever trapped in the cycle of bombs over bread. And here's the brutal truth: a country that chooses war over welfare, silence over scrutiny, and soldiers over students can never truly be free, prosperous, or stable. Pakistan may try to match India's military might, but while India builds highways, satellites, and startups, Pakistan pumps money into bunkers. A fresh storm has erupted over the legacy of one of Punjab's most iconic voices, Sidhu Moosewala, a name that resonated with millions not just in India but across the world. A voice silenced by bullets but whose story refuses to fade away. Now, the BBC World Service released a highly anticipated and highly controversial documentary on Sidhu Moosewala's life titled The Killing Call. But here's where the controversy begins. This release comes despite strong objections from his father, Balkaur Singh. So what's in the documentary that's causing this emotional and legal uproar? The Killing Call, a documentary by the BBC World Service, dives deep into the life and brutal death of Sidhu Moosewala, or Shubdeep Singh Sidhu. On the 29th of May 2022, Moosewala was gunned down in broad daylight near Mansa in Punjab. A carefully orchestrated hit carried out by a hired gunman who tracked his car, opened fire and left him bleeding on the roadside. The singer turned politician was just 28. But the documentary isn't just a retelling of that horrific day. It features exclusive content, including an audio interview with gangster Goldie Brar, the alleged mastermind behind Sidhu Moosewala's killing. And it goes further, piecing together Moosewala's journey from a small village in Punjab to international stardom, all while wading through controversies, gang rivalries, and the politics of fame. But this deep dive has triggered deep pain for his family. Sidhu Moosewala's father, Balkaur Singh, has slammed the BBC for moving forward with the documentary. In fact, he filed a legal petition asking for an immediate halt to its release, citing that it may disclose new, sensitive information related to the ongoing investigation into his son's murder. He also raised serious concerns about the documentary, including interviews and individuals named in the FIR like Goldie Brar. Moosewala's father believes this could hinder the legal process and, more importantly, reopen emotional wounds that have still not healed. The BBC, on its part, has not officially responded to the family's plea. The documentary is available on YouTube and the BBC World Service platforms and has already begun trending. While some fans are praising the documentary for shedding light on the dark underbelly of Punjabi music and gang cultures, others have called it exploitive and unethical, especially as it was released without the family's approval. Sidhu Moosewala may be gone, but his life and now the story of his death continues to stir debates, emotions, and outrage. Shillong honeymoon horror. Sonam watched husband Raja Raghuvanshi being butchered and accused confessed to the crime. A story where a honeymoon in the picturesque hill of Meghalaya turned into a carefully orchestrated murder. 28-year-old Raja Raghuvanshi, a newlywed, a young man who thought he was beginning the most beautiful chapter of his life, was allegedly lured, trapped, and brutally killed. And Sonam, the woman he trusted the most, watched him struggle for every breath until he couldn't breathe. What seemed like a crime of passion at first is now, according to the police, a cold-blooded conspiracy plotted not in the heat of the moment but with chilling patience. Just 6 days after their wedding, Sonam, Raja's wife, returned to her paternal home in Indore. She rekindled ties with her alleged lover, Raj Kushwaha, and it was there that the murder plan began to take shape. According to investigators, the conspiracy moved quickly. By May 17, Barely 3 weeks into her marriage, the plan was finalized over dinner at a restaurant in Indore. A chilling dinner now believed to have included the discussion of a contract killing. 3 men were allegedly hired to carry out the murder. By May 21, the hitman had already reached Shillong, shadowing the couple, blending into the background as if waiting for their cue. Then came May 23, the day Raja took his final steps. Police say Sonam played the part of a loving wife, smiling for pictures, clicking selfies, and all the while sending location updates to the killers. She led Raja into a secluded forest in East Khasi Hills. The killers first tried to push him off a cliff. When that failed, they used a machete bought earlier in Guwahati to hack him to death. And here's the most disturbing part. Investigators say Sonam stood by and watched as her husband was killed. Forensic teams recovered the blood-stained weapon. Sonam's raincoat with blood traces, the accused clothes, soaked in Raja's blood, and fingerprints on both the machete and Raja's personal belongings. The web of evidence was undeniable. All 4 accused, Akash Rajput, Vishal Singh Chauhan, Raj Singh Kushwaha, and Anand Kurmi, have confessed to the crime. Sonam too has confessed to the brutal crime that shattered a family and sent shockwaves across the country. India is truly feeling the heat this summer, and not just literally. We're grappling with severe heat wave that has gripped large parts of North India, pushing temperatures to extreme highs and putting an unprecedented strain on our power infrastructure. From Rajasthan to Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab and Delhi, the mercury has consistently breached the 45 degrees Celsius mark. On Monday, the real field temperature or heat index in Delhi shot up to a scorching 48.9 degrees Celsius, prompting authorities to issue stern warnings and advise extreme caution. Now, with these escalating temperatures, it's only natural that the usage of air conditioners has seen a massive surge across the nation. And while ACs offer much needed respite, this widespread reliance has led to an alarming rise in electricity consumption. Our peak power demand hit a staggering 241 gigawatts. In a significant move to address this power demand, the Indian government is now considering a groundbreaking framework. Union Power Minister Manohar Lal Khattar announced a proposed provision that aims to standardize the default temperatures of air conditioner across the country. Let's break this down. The proposal suggests setting a temperature standard for ACs within the range of 20 to 28 degrees Celsius. This means we won't be able to cool below 20 degrees Celsius or above 28 degrees Celsius. This is truly a first of its kind experiment with the primary objective of reducing power usage in both households and commercial spaces. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency, or BEE, operating under the Ministry of Power, is actively drafting this framework. Their goal is clear: to standardize default AC temperatures within 20 to 28 degrees Celsius range to significantly improve energy efficiency nationwide. If this proposed framework receives the government's nod, it will be a game changer. And so why is this initiative so crucial? Let's look at the numbers. India has been witnessing a massive surge in peak power demand during the summer months. In the last 10 years alone, our power demand has seen a twofold rise. Back in 2013-14, the peak power demand was around 130 gigawatts. Today, in 24-25, we are nearing 250 gigawatts. The reason for this escalating demand is evident. When air conditioners are used at very low temperatures, they significantly increase the load on our electricity grid. So this proposed standardization is not just about saving electricity, it is a multifaceted approach to address a growing energy crisis, reduce our carbon footprint, and ensure the stability of a power supply in the face of increasingly extreme weather conditions. It's a step toward more energy conscious and sustainable future for India as a country. This is all what we have time for in this special segment. For more news and updates, you can subscribe to the Daily Jagran, or you can also log on to thedailyjagran.com. This is Nikita Kapoor signing off. much.